Hello, my fellow movie fans, and welcome to another episode of A Feast of Films Theatre with your hosts, Matthew Ayalew and Ethan R. Hill. How's that? That was good?
Ah, yeah. Classic. Classic. What's going on, my fellow movie fans? Welcome to another episode of A Feast of Films. I'm Matthew Ayalew, and joining me, as always, is...
Ethan R. Hill.
What's going on, buddy?
Oh, yeah, no. Just living life, doing the things, being a party animal. Just none of that, really.
Just none of it. Just living my best COVID life.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I'm not living the life, I'm not doing the party things, and I can't remember what the second one was. That's how my life is going.
It sounds at least consistent with the rest of society, or at least my version of society.
We do live in a society.
We do. Why is that such a big deal? Anyway, okay, we can talk about that.
It's because
later,
because it's a meme. It's because it's a meme, and then they put it in a movie.
Okay, I'm like, I don't get why it's. I'm like, okay, cool, I get it. Like comic book lines in a film.
No, it's the thing is, it's
awesome.
not even a comic book line, dude.
Oh,
It's not even a comic book line. It's just it's a meme. It's literally just a meme of like people who like the Joker saying like, "We live in a society," and it's like, it's just stuck, and it's been a thing associated with the Joker for a very long time.
Oh, okay.
Because people online, and then they just.
Because, like, people are losing it. They're like, in the black and white version, he says, we live in a society. And I was like, this is not very interesting. I don't understand.
Wait, there's different... It's not in the color version?
No, apparently it's not in the color version, but it's going to be in the black and white version.
Why is there two different cuts?
I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
Why is that? If you're wondering, we are talking about the Snyder Cut. Just for no reason at all, because you brought it up. But that was a question. I'm glad you answered that. And like usual, the answer is ridiculousness. That's the answer, because ridiculousness. No. Anyway, welcome to A Feast of Films. This is episode
I quit.
28. We're on episode 28 now. Don't quit them yet.
Nope, I'm done.
Don't quit.
I'm tapped. You mentioned Snyder Cut, and it's...
we still have a long way to go. Technically, you started, but that's fine. That's fine.
You said society, and I thought you knew.
No.
You knew what you were doing.
No, I didn't. I didn't know I was going to go there. I was just talking about the general lack of anything because of COVID, but that's just...
It's true.
But yeah, it's just, yeah. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about our films, favorite films from 2007. So we're jumping back into the year one for this episode. Next episode, we got a different topic that we're going to be talking about, which is more on the lines of tropes. Yes. And are they
what are tropes? Who are tropes?
Are they good? Are they bad? You know, or are they? Is it okay to have them? So we're gonna be talking about that the next episode. But today, right now, we're talking about our best films, or at least films in general, from 2007. And then Ethan's got a question of the day for us. So that's what's going on today. Thank you for joining us. Always happy to have you around. It really it makes our day. It really does.
On my day.
In a society.
Oh, shut up, man.
Live in a society. I was like, why is that such a big deal?
Stick to Heath Ledger.
Just no idea.
Stick to your Heath Ledger impression. I'm fine with that.
Okay, cool, man. I'm glad. It's good. So Ethan, what are your favorite films of 2007? What did you think of the year overall? I think that's kind of the question here we're going with tonight. What did you think of the year overall, and some of the films that are in it?
So, like, objectively speaking, overall, I think the year was fine. Like, it was a pretty decent year for films, like, objectively speaking, because I looked over the list, and, like, a lot of films are ones I remembered enjoying and being like, oh, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
But when I really thought about, like, movies that I like and go back to and talk positively about and go like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, there's 4.5.
4.5. Like, I wonder if ours line up at all. That's what I'm curious. I am curious to hear that. Mine
are kind of random and all over the place a bit, but these are films that I really, 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 really liked.
Yeah.
And like would recommend to people and like straight up have revisited multiple times throughout. Whereas a lot of the other ones are like, even if they are, well, the Transformers is on is on the 2007 list, but I wouldn't say that's one of my highlights of the year. It's
Hey,
what I've seen
listen,
multiple
man,
times, but like
the first Transformers wasn't that bad. It wasn't that
it's
bad.
still pretty bad. It's
It
still not
wasn't
great.
that bad, and for the time, it was pretty dang cool, man. This was.
When was the last time you watched it, Matt?
It's been a while, and it was on Netflix for a while too. I did not watch it on Netflix.
I think I watched it 2 Christmases ago. I think.
That doesn't mean it wasn't. It doesn't, like, I'm just saying, there's a lot of good movies to catch up on. Like, I haven't watched a lot of these films for a while, and I still think some of them are pretty great. In the funniest way?
Or is it just like it's okay?
No, some of them are pretty great. Well, like my idea of the year. How
many Will Ferrell movies made it to your list?
Just wait. For sure, one.
Yeah, I thought so. I saw that and I'm like, that's gonna be on Matt's
Yeah,
list.
I'm the same one. Yeah, no, there was definitely one on the list. Like for me, this year, like how I would say it is, it was very much a year of mediocrity. Like there's so much just middle ground in this year where it's like it's not like 9s and 10s, but it's also not like a 1 and a 2.
Well,
like or 2 and 3s. Like it's more of like that 5, 6, 7 range, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of year of mediocrity, but there are just a lot of films that were just honestly are some of my favorite films when I just want to turn my brain off and have some fun. Like you don't think about it, you just have some fun. So for me, it was kind of a great year to revisit. And some of these, there's 2 on my list that I literally just watched in the last 2 days. So to me, I find that very entertaining. Like those are the 2 films that I decided to watch in the last couple of days. Out of all the films you could have chosen, I was like, of course, because they're just fun to watch. Like they're just fun. It's a good time.
Oh man. Yeah, I think I figured out my question of the day. I'm gonna save that. For later.
Well, yeah, it is the end of the episode, so don't.
I know. I was gonna bring up something, but I'm like, no. I'll talk about that later.
Sounds good. So why don't you like give us your list of your films for 2007?
So mine is it's weird and all over the place because it's all movies that like I came to at different points in my life, and I don't think any of them were in 2007.
Fair enough.
Because like the first one that's like I'll address the half one.
Okay.
So the half one is Ratatouille.
Okay.
Because it's a Disney Pixar film, and I really like it, but I've only seen it like twice. Because like I didn't go and see it in theaters, and I didn't really watch it. Again, I've only seen it twice.
Fair enough.
So,
I honestly don't think I've seen that film all the way through. Like it's one of those ones where I've seen bits and pieces of, and and not for any particular reason. It's just that's the way it's worked out. Like whether it's on and I have to go somewhere, or I'm just coming home and it's on, like a certain part of the film. Like I just never have sat down and watched it from beginning to end.
See, and I as someone who I've seen it a couple times, I like it. I just never go back and revisit it, but I keep meaning to. So I know I like it. I know it's a good film. I know it is top of my list because it's also Disney Pixar, right? So I can't really like.
Well, you can't go really wrong there, yeah.
Right? So it's one of those things of like. It's on my list, but it's like a half point because it's not one that I'm like. Someone mentions Ratatouille, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is the best film in the world.
Fair enough.
But like, comparatively speaking to a lot of those other movies that were on the list, like this is definitely
it's a half point. You get a half point.
It's above most of those other films.
Yes, quality wise for sure. Like, and there was a couple, like in 2007, I should note, there was a couple really good films on there. Like they were far and few in between, but there was a couple of really good films on there too. Like, and not just like, haha, this is fun for me film, but like an actual quality film.
One, I think that's what most of my list is after this one. Because Hot Fuzz is also on my list.
Yeah.
Because Hot Fuzz is a really, really fun one. Actually, that's one that had to grow on me over time. Because I'd seen Shaun of the Dead, and I liked Shaun of the Dead. And then Prosser kept talking nonstop about Hot Fuzz and how great it was. I'm like, okay, it's not that great. It's no Shaun of the Dead. And he just kept going on and on about it. And he showed me the first time, and I'm like, okay, it was funny, but it wasn't that funny. And then I watched the second, I'm like, okay, that was funny, but still not as funny. Third time, okay, it's funny. I'm liking it, and like I've seen it like 6 or 7 times now, and I'm like, this is one of the funniest
Like
films out there.
it
Like,
is really really good. I love Hot Fuzz is on my list too, and I'll tell you which list it's on when we get there. That kind of reminds me of my Napoleon Dynamite experience. The first time I watched it, I was like, this has got to be the dumbest movie I've ever seen. The second time I watched it, I thought it was hilarious. And I have no idea why. It just had two completely different reactions. Then the
see,
third
mine
time,
was
I
the
think I was
opposite.
somewhere in the middle. But like the first time, did not find it funny. Second time, I thought this was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
But overall, like it's one that it grew on me over time, and like it's just got some really clever comedy. It plays on the action tropes really well.
Yeah.
The villains are hilarious. The cast all is absolutely amazing, and like Simon Pegg and Nick Frost again, as always, knock it out of the park when they're
Just
in a movie together.
yeah, such a great duo. Such a
And then
great duo.
the direction from Edgar Wright is just like on point too. Like he's one of the great directors out there. I can always look forward when he says he's gonna do a new film.
Yeah.
And
Timothy Dalton is in that movie too.
he's so
great.
good in that.
He's so great.
The Neighborhood Watch Association, or NWA.
Yeah. Like there's just so many little things in there that are so funny that if like some things would just go over like your head. And I think that was the problem when I was watching it originally.
Yeah, same. Like I didn't
Like
there
I
were
just
so
I
many,
wasn't catching on to things. Yeah.
so many references that I just didn't get, or that I didn't really pick up on. And then as I grew as a person and took in more, the more references I got, the more I picked up on, and it's just like it's just good comedy.
Yeah.
Yarp is a daily thing that I say in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yarp. Yarp. Narp.
Narp. Good.
Yeah.
No, like, yeah, it's I'll just say yarp to people, and like some people know what it is, some people don't, but at the end of the day, it's just something that puts a smile on my face.
Absolutely.
Next on my list would be Sunshine. Did you ever watch Sunshine or
No, I haven't. I have no idea even what you're talking about. I've never even heard of this. What is this? What is this?
It's a Danny Boyle sci-fi film. Yeah, you know the guy who did like you know Danny Boyle, right?
Yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about there, yeah.
28 Days Later.
Mm-hmm.
I'm blanking on a bunch of other films. but no, it's a sci-fi film where it's the year 2057, I think.
Oh, okay.
And the sun's dying. So they launch a bunch of astronauts with a nuclear load to go and reignite the sun. They go missing, so they send a second team with a new payload
That's always a good solution, yeah.
to try and reignite the sun and possibly find out what happened to these other missing astronauts.
Right.
And it's basically just this like psychological thriller horror movie about people in space on this super fantastical science or futuristic spaceship. And it's
Cool.
I don't want to say too much without giving it away, but it's just like it's really well done. There's really good tension. Chris Evans is in it. Cillian Murphy's in it.
Huh.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember everyone.
Why have I never heard of this?
I don't know, man. It wasn't really well received, but I love it.
It sounds interesting enough.
It is. It's really fun, and it's kind of cool because it's all these astronauts are also kind of like they know there's a chance they'll never see their family again.
Right.
Like they know the risk, right? So
Yeah.
it's this kind of tension where it's like we'd like to get back home, but we know we can't, and if anything goes wrong, we probably won't be able to.
Yeah.
Basically, imagine Apollo 13, except for like a lot further away than the moon.
Fair enough.
Like, but highly recommend it. Really well acted, really fun story. People are torn on the third act. I enjoy it, but a lot of people are really torn on how it kind of ends up. But
Well, I will have to check this out.
you should.
It's called Sunshine.
Just Sunshine. Yep.
Sunshine. Okay.
Next on my list is Zodiac. You ever watch Zodiac or no?
Also, that's a no for me. I have not watched that.
So Zodiac is it's a David Fincher film, and it's another one of those films that I found out was his after, like, I think I've already talked about David Fincher several times on the podcast, but he's one of those surprise directors where, like, I watched all of his movies, or most of his movies, before realizing they were all his movies.
Oh, and then afterwards
like-
you're like, whoa, I did
Whoa,
not know that was one of his films.
I guess he's one of my favorite directors.
Oh, what? He
Like,
directed that? Oh, damn. And that?
and
Oh,
it's,
man. I guess he's a favorite.
Pardon me, 1 second. Excuse me. Prosser, cut that out.
He probably won't.
No, then everyone's gonna hear how terrible of a person he is. How horrible. If you play that burp backwards, you'll actually hear me tell the truth about Prosser.
That sounds about right.
Yep. But Zodiac it's honestly kind of what it sounds like. Well, okay, I guess that's a broad thing. I always forget how broad the term Zodiac
Yeah,
is.
I'm like, I was
But
just
for
gonna
my-
say that might be a bit broad. It's exactly what it sounds like.
Okay,
Zodiac,
so
like that works
when
if
I
you're
hear
like
Zodiac-
pumpkin killer. Like that's exactly what it sounds like.
Okay, but when I hear Zodiac, I think Zodiac Killer. That's
Yeah.
because of the amount of time I've spent studying serial killers, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, that's what I think of too. But it just is pretty. It is pretty like
Well,
general.
because the Zodiac is kind of like an astrology thing. Like there's
It
so
is,
many
yeah.
like
depends
so-
depends whose viewpoint you're looking at from.
exactly, but it's about the Zodiac killings, and it's a bunch of journalists trying to figure out who the Zodiac Killer is. And the police too, I think. I haven't watched it in a while, but it's
Also, the cops maybe. I don't know. They were busy with other shit. Some guy was like jaywalking, so they're like, we should probably deal with that first.
probably yeah.
Probably.
Well, like honestly, dude, it's so good. The cast is stacked, but it's a really, 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 really well made movie.
Is RDJ in that one too?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
and Jake Gyllenhaal too. I think.
Well, okay. I have
Neither of them
seen
are the titular killer
images.
character or killer.
Titicular.
The titular character.
Titicular.
The titular characters.
It's like Worcestershire sauce. It's like Worcestershire.
Oh yeah, and you got Mark Ruffalo as well.
Oh, nice.
You got Brian Cox. I thought there was more notable names in it, but
You're just like, never mind. That's it.
either way, it's a good cast. Really good cast, really well executed movie. Again, like honestly, like I can't say enough positive about it. If you don't like real life dramas though, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah,
like-
probably. I mean, it sounds
And
interesting to me. I just mean like, yes.
And it's a 2.5 hour long movie, so it's a bit of a
Right.
commitment, but
2.5
it's a
hours?
good one. It's a good 2.5 hours. Like it's a well spent one, and it's tense. Like
Okay.
I mean, I sat through Darkest Hour for you. I bet you haven't sat through any of the movies I told you to sit through.
I don't even remember
think so.
one of the
Didn't
movies
think
you
so.
told me to say. Listen, but
Me neither.
I like dogged you to sit through Darkest Hour. And it was
And
a
it
good
was
sit
terrible.
through. You just didn't appreciate it. You just didn't appreciate
I don't
it,
know.
man.
Prosser also didn't appreciate it.
Well, Prosser's an idiot. Never mind. I love you, Prosser.
Speaking,
I love you, man. I love you, man.
Uh,
Which was a great film.
it was an amazing film. I showed that to him, and he loved it. See, so he does have good taste.
Yeah. Well,
My final.
that's up for debate.
He has. I mean, he's been my roommate for 10 years. I don't know how good of taste he can actually have.
That's kind of the key point here.
Who would choose to keep living
Evidence
with me for 10
category
years?
A. Your Honor, this is like our top layer of evidence. Right here. Biggest point. Biggest point. I'm not a lawyer,
He
clearly.
still lives with this guy, and that's kind of weird.
It's questionable at best.
Final pick though is a kind of surprising one, probably, but I don't know. I feel like you've seen this one. Bridge to Terabithia.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Oh my goodness, man!
I'm surprised how many of our films are not lining up on this, but okay, yeah.
So Bridge to Terabithia, you need to watch it, and it'll make you feel things, and that's all I'm gonna say on it. Because
Oh man, I don't
want
want
to say anything else.
I feel like we have talked about this before though, or
all I know
maybe
is
there were other films you were like, you're gonna feel stuff, and I was like, I don't want to.
I mean, I can talk about Dear Zachary again if you want.
Oh yeah, no, we already talked about that. That's no, nope.
No, it's a good family film. That's the best way I can put it. It's very, very heart wrenching though. Like, expect to be hurt. And the trailer does not reflect the movie in the slightest, like you think it's going to, and like, yeah, no, it's definitely more of like a childhood drama than it is actually like a fantasy film. It's
Yeah, because that's what I always thought it was, and I was like, not interested. No, thank you.
yeah, dude, like it is no, like all the fantasy stuff. I'll tell you this much: all the fantasy stuff that's in the movie
Just
is
covering.
just in their it's just in their imagination. Like it's not actually like happening. It's basically
Oh.
essentially Terabithia is this fictional world that the kids make up to escape.
Hmm.
Yeah, like in the it gets heavy, but like in the best way possible. It's a we surprised Prosser with it because we didn't tell him anything that happened. We're just like, yeah, just watch this movie. He's like, okay, okay, and he was wrecked. He was
And
destroyed
this
because
is
he's
this,
like,
this is what. Why are we trusting Prosser here? You're just like, watch this movie. He's like, okay, like he should at least ask more questions. Come on,
we
Prosser.
didn't
You
tell him
know
any more
Ethan. You
questions.
know Ethan. You know he's always up to no good.
I like to emotionally destroy people with films.
I
It's
know.
it's
That's why Prosser should know ahead of time to ask some questions. Don't just watch stuff.
look.
You're
What's the
sneaky
point of
like that.
watching a
You're
movie if you're
sneaky.
not going to feel something?
Well, it's okay to feel stuff, but like, what if you don't want to feel things? What's the point? My whole list, once you're done here, is the point. That's what I was gonna say about that.
I expressed to you Lion King and how I didn't feel anything about Lion King until I saw it in college for some reason. Like I never was sad when Mufasa
Did you say
died.
that? Maybe.
I want to say when we talked about the remake, but like
Oh
I
yeah,
used to never
maybe.
feel anything when Mufasa died. I used to like me and my sister would joke about it, and then I moved
Monster.
away. Moved away, went to college. It was showing in theaters in 3D, and for some reason, I just broke down when he died. It just killed me, and
Just
I'm like,
lost it.
is this what being an adult is? I don't like this. Why am I feeling things now?
Is this what being an adult is? I feel things.
Basically,
This is some bullcrap.
no one told me you start crying when you hit a certain age. Jeepers.
Oh, dude, if I know like the guys in like their 40s and stuff, it gets worse apparently. Guys just be bawling all the time. Like, dude, what
I'm
the
fine with
hell?
this. Hey, I'm comfortable in my masculinity. I'm okay crying a bunch.
Hey man, no problem with crying. It's just funny that like so many people all of a sudden emotions just start coming out of nowhere. I think we just suppress them so much for so long. And
My
it's just like,
emotions.
yeah, then I just gotta let all my emotions out all at once. In my 40s. It's cool.
Exactly. Yeah, it's again. I don't have a long list,
Totally
but like
mentally healthy.
I don't
Totally
have a
healthy.
long list, but all my movies I highly recommend. Like there's a little bit of everything for everyone because you got like your comedy action movie, you got your
Yeah.
family film, you got your family film that's gonna like destroy you, you got your like hard boiled detective
Your
movie, and then you
family
got like your
film.
weird
Your
sci-fi stuff.
family film that will destroy you. Oh man, if you want to make your kids cry, like there we go.
I mean, like we had Land Before Time, right? So it's like it's one of those
That's
films
true.
where it's like it's not afraid to traumatize the children watching it. How about you, Matt? How was your year? How was your 27? 27? Your
My year
2007.
27 was pretty non-existent to be honest. It was yeah.
I have been drinking water and coffee and no water and tea, and
I I
I
I
don't know why I'm slurring so much.
I'm water and I'm drinking water and coffee and tea. Okay there, Reginald, let's calm down there. Reginald. I'm drinking coffee and tea. It's so good.
There's no bottom
Okay. Give me some
Yeah,
rum.
Matt.
Need some rum.
Where's the rum gone?
Anyway, okay, so for
Hey, Matt. How was
2007,
your 2007?
my list is longer, and then I decided to like categorize a couple like movies that I was like, these are very like a mediocrity list for everybody, just in case you wanted to like watch some super mediocre stuff. Um, but, so my first list here that I have for you guys is my turn off your brain fun list. These are kind of like my best films of 2007. I will admit, in general, they are not like spectacular standout films, But damn, when you're feeling down and you're just like, I just need to turn my brain off and have some laughs and not actually think about what's happening, these are go-tos. They're so good. Some are
Ooh.
action, some are comedy, some are a little bit of both. So let me break down to you my list of 2007. So let me start off with the two that I've actually watched in the last couple days. Number one, 300. Freaking love 300.
It's okay.
Dude, dude. Yeah, but I love it. Listen, I'm not saying again, these are like the best films ever, but I love
Now
300.
you don't.
I watched it today and
You just love. You
it's
just love Leonidas.
okay. Yes, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Leonidas, man,
Nothing's
great
wrong with that.
leader. I love the what's I'm trying to think of the word. I was like the not the theatrics of it. Um hmm
Epicness.
um no, no. Uh why can't I think of words when I'm doing the podcast or making videos or writing things? I'm like, I know words, but I swear I know words, but I just can't think of them now. Oh, the romanticization of like all of that, right? Of like leadership, of like strength and honor, like all that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah. So if you're just like a dude who just wants to be like, hell yeah, well then just watch this film because it's fun. Like it's a lot of great action. There's a lot of people getting things chopped off. It's a great time. A lot of that like male testosterone, strength, and honor stuff. And Leonidas is great. Gerard Butler did excellent
Oh, Gerard Butler's, I think,
at that
super
film.
underrated. I love Gerard
Super
Butler.
underrated, man. Like he is a really good actor, and he keeps like he always ends up in these really odd movies. But like his
And then,
performances in them are always really good.
and then there's David Wenham for some reason in that movie, but I like him too.
Yeah, and Michael Fassbender's in 300. I was like, yo, Michael Fassbender. I didn't even know that guy was in there.
He looks weird with long hair. He
Yeah,
looks so weird
it
with
was
long hair.
weird. And it's like, yeah, there's just a couple actors in there too where you're like, oh, that dude's in there. Didn't notice that before, but cool.
I'm sorry,
Um,
I was so distracted by their abs.
I was so distracted by the rippling abs. And then I look at myself and I'm like, oh man, I'm fat. Never mind, back to the movie. Abs,
You just grab a
yeah.
Sharpie and just start drawing the abs on your
Just
belly. It's like,
draw.
I'm a Spartan too.
This is Sparta. Like there were so many cool things, right? Like there's just like the dialogue wasn't great, and the overall story is like it's the romanticization again of those events that took place.
It's a very
Um,
visually appealing movie.
and visually, yes, it does look great. But it again, it's just one of those ones you just turn your brain off, have some fun, watch dudes get hacked up, and like if you're a chick, you get to watch a bunch of like ripped dudes walk around shirtless. Like it's a pretty good deal, man, for everyone involved. So 300, that's on my turn your brain off, have some fun list of 2007. Second one that I watched, not today, but yesterday, Blades of Glory. And that's the one that I'm
Course.
assuming
Of course,
is
Will
that, yeah,
Ferrell.
I knew you were, I'm like, I'm 100% sure that's the one. It's the dude who did like Napoleon, whatever the hell his name is, and Will Ferrell.
John Heater and Will Ferrell. And
John
honestly, like
Heater? Okay.
I think it's Heater or Header, but I could be wrong either way. Honestly, when I saw Blades of Glory, it was like once, a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's funny. I did enjoy it quite a bit.
It is very funny.
Like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous and it makes no sense.
But
As
like
a
turn
movie.
your
It
brain off,
shouldn't
man.
work, but
Yeah.
oh, exactly.
But it does. And I think it's like their character dynamics like coming together, right? Like there's a
Well, and the
lot of
rival-
great like tension and conflict in that film. And then like just like even like the villainary characters played by see man, like I try to
Is it Amy Poehler and
Amy
Will
Poehler
Arnett?
and Will Arnett. Yeah, and then Pam from The Office, Jenna Fisher is like their like sister or whatever, but she's all super nice, and those two are like complete jerks, and they're in some kind of weird love thing going on. Like it's just funny. Anyway, it's just a really great film. Like it's just so much fun. Like I laughed so hard. I showed my daughter; she did not find it as funny. We also watched the Nutty Professor earlier that day, and I was busting a gut because I was like, I forgot how funny this film is. And then watching it as an adult again because I haven't watched it for years and years. I was like,
Like I'm assuming you're talking
with
about the
Eddie
Eddie
Murphy.
Murphy.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never seen it.
Dude, it's super funny. At least I found it really funny. But my daughter was like, meh. And I was like, what do you mean, meh, man? This is hilarious. But like, whatever. She didn't enjoy
Meh, you're adopted.
it. I mean, that's not from 2007, but it's an older film than that. But it's like 90s or whatever. But anyway, but yeah, no, like Blades of Glory, so much fun. These two guys, they're competitive skaters. Like they get in a fight, then they have to, in order to get back into skating, they have to like team up and be in. They're the first like two men paired figure skaters in the competition. And again, it's such a stupid and ridiculous and funny concept. And the fact that you could make a film about like figure skating in general that isn't like serious, like that's a comedy that appeals to so many people. It's just, I don't know. It's a funny film and I really enjoy it. So, you want a great time for 2007? Blades of Glory. Turn your brain off, have some fun. Next one on the list, Hot Rod. This one, this one is also really great. Did you think I was going with that one too?
I didn't even see it on my list in all honesty, but it's one of those. Hot Rod is one of those ones that like. I don't hate it when I watch it, but I never feel the need to go back and watch it again. And it's
Oh
another one of
man,
those ones where it's like I know it's not an Adam Sandler film, but it's like most Adam Sandler films where it's like I understand why people like it, but I don't get it. But I understand why
fair
people
enough.
like it. And it's fun. Like it was a fun time. I didn't hate it when I was watching it. But I didn't connect with it.
Dude, I could watch that. I don't know. Maybe because like we're always like just such like our like group. We're like I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, man, we were just like just music nerds and whatever and drama nerds and whatever. Like we just did like crazy stuff. But I don't know. I felt like connected to that whole group of guys. Like guys. I'm like, I feel like this is our crew. Like we think we're like, oh yeah, cool as hell, guys, but we're really just like dancing in the parking lot, all weird and strange and shit. Like I don't know. But that film makes me laugh so hard every time I see it. And I do go back and watch it. Like it's one that I see on Netflix or whatever. Like I'm watching it, man. I'm watching it. Like it's not even a question. As soon as I see it, I gotta watch it. Um, I probably actually watched that one the most out of all the things on this list when I look at them. Because I don't know, like it's just it's very appealing to me and it makes me laugh pretty hard. So, especially when he's doing like the dancing in the woods and then like trips over the log and like falls down the hill for like 20 minutes, man, that gets me every time. And I don't know why. I don't know why. It's a guy falling down the hill. It just kills me every time, man.
And
Every
that's what's
single time.
important.
And again, that's what this list is about, right? Like this isn't Shakespeare, man, but it is great if you just need to have a laugh and have some fun. Turn your brain
Maybe it
off.
should be Shakespeare.
Watch Hot Rod. Watch Hot Rod. Next one, Hot Fuzz. Feels like there's a lot of hot gloriness going on right now. But Hot Fuzz, Ethan already talked about on his list. Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. Again, fantastic film. And a lot smarter than a lot of people give it credit for. Like I don't think it's as dumb as like Nick Frost and well Simon Pegg specifically. Like he makes like really like his comedies are pretty smart at the end of the day. Like they're just really well thought out, very calculated. Like it's not like kind of like Will Ferrell where it's just like oh screaming and whatever else is funny. Like they're just very like precise jokes and you get it or you don't get it kind of thing, right? Um,
There's a
yeah, the
lot of
film itself was
rewatchability.
really, really enjoyable. Yeah. Like there's things like you'll miss and then you go back and watch it and then obviously you find them the next time. But it's not a definitely not a waste of time. Really, really fun film. Hot Fuzz. Next one, Turn Your Brain Off. A lot of people don't like this, but I actually don't mind it. Live Free or Die Hard. This is the fourth Die Hard movie that had what's his name? What's his name?
Bruce Willis?
No. Jesus Christ.
John McClane?
Oh shit. This is Die Hard. Who that guy? What's that guy? Bruce Willis.
It is.
Like, you're not wrong, but that's not really who I was talking about.
You mean John McClane, the character that he plays?
Jesus. Oh, I'm having such like a
Look, man, it was
brain fart day today. Justin Long, that's the guy,
Oh,
and Timothy Oliphant. It's in that one as well. A lot of people don't like the new Die Hard films. Like, the fifth one's terrible. The fifth one is truly awful. Like, don't watch it. But this one, even though it's a little ridiculous and it's not classic Die Hard, you know, really tight spaces, cop running around, no shoes, just a regular cop. It's still just a lot of fun. Like, just turn your brain off and have a good time, because this was actually a fairly decent film and had a lot of moments where it was like, yeah, man, this guy freaking like hard to kill. Like, he ain't just gonna die. So it was great. I thought that one was really fun.
Hard.
He's gonna live free, yeah, or die hard. So that's another one. Turn your brain off, have some fun, watch some action. It's a good time. Norbit is another. This one's from Eddie Murphy, and this one, like, it's not like his best stuff. It's kind of like hit and miss. It had barely made it on the list. It like skimmed its way on, but like, it's not terrible, and it has some really funny moments as well. But of course, it's Eddie Murphy playing, like, doing the multiple parts thing. Like, he's the main guy and the girlfriend, I think. Something like
Is
that.
he just the two characters? It's another.
No,
one I've
he's
never
the
seen.
third character as well. He's the dad. He's like the Asian adopted, like the Asian guy adopted Norbit. And I think he's the dad as well, who's Asian. It's weird. It's not a bad film though. Like, it's pretty funny. Again, this is a year surrounded by mediocrity. So, like, none of these films are Shakespeare or, like, you know, Oscar winners, but they're pretty good. Transformers, another great one to turn your brain off, have some fun. Ethan apparently doesn't like it or doesn't think it's very good. And I thought, especially at the time in 2007, where we hadn't had anything like that, that was pretty damn good. It wasn't bad.
It's
Two
one of
was
those ones.
terrible.
It's got prequel syndrome for me, where it's like, yeah, it was good at the time, but upon reflection, like, who was that movie for? Who, like, 'cause it
Anybody
was,
who
like,
just wanted to see robots fight each other, I think that was pretty much it. And like weird and like young guys who were like, man, Megan Fox is a babe, and creepy old guys who were like, Megan Fox is a babe, man. That's pretty much who it was for. Yeah, it's a decent target audience, and not, to be honest, they hit the mark.
But it could have just been. It could have just. I don't know, man. I'm just a crotchety,
but
grumpy
like,
old.
to be fair, out of
I'm
like
just
the Bay movies, it is not the worst one.
I
Out
mean,
of the
like,
Bay
for-
Transformers films, like, it's arguably the best one with the most plot. That makes sense. Anyway, great one to turn your brain off and have some fun. Watch some robots fight. It's a good time. Super Bad. Did you watch Super Bad? I'm surprised it was on your
Yes.
list.
I watched Superbad once and I liked it.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it enough to go watch it again.
There you go. There you go. It is pretty fun. I think I've watched it like maybe 3 times in total. It's got some really great, like, just laughs in there though. Like, and just things that I think have stuck around in our culture for
Well,
like McLovin is still a thing, right? Like, if you talk about McLovin, like, everyone knows what you're talking about. Like, no one's confused where that came from.
I'm trying to think about any other references that come from that movie specifically.
Other than McLovin. Yeah, probably not too many, but Seth Rogen and oh my gosh, I am going Bill Hader. If I literally have one more brain fart, I'm gonna lose it. I hate
Okay,
when
next time I'll just say
I cannot remember when I can't remember people. Anyway, super bad. Go watch it.
that makes
Funny.
no sense.
Laughs.
That makes no sense. So the next year for 2006, I'm gonna talk about Accepted. I'm just gonna say that here.
You're gonna talk about Accepted?
I thought Accepted came out after Superbad,
No, it came out
Because-
before.
but Jonah Hill's in both.
Yeah,
he's a
but no one
college
knew
student
who
ex-
Jonah Hill was.
He's a college
Ex-
student in
Accepted.
Accepted, and then he's a high school student in Superbad.
But no one knew who Jonah Hill was till Superbad.
Now everyone knows who he was.
Everyone
Or is.
knew who he was after that. No one knew about him beforehand. Like, you went, it's one of those things where you go back and watch a film and you're like, hey, that guy's in there? Did not know that. Because they just weren't. Yeah. I love Accepted too. We'll definitely talk about that next time because that is great.
Such a good movie.
So, dude, I watch. That's another one that if I see it, like I'm watching it. I'm watching it.
Straight up.
And again, okay, I'm gonna just keep moving on because I can't. Justin Long, obviously, in that film as well. But I'm just gonna keep moving on here. We're just gonna do some quick fire ones now, just to fill off the list. Balls of Fury. That one was pretty funny. It's a ping pong
Never saw
one.
it.
It's got Christopher Walken in it. He's a lot of fun. There's like some weird crime lord stuff and high stakes ping pong and weird Asian dudes with crickets and stuff. It's great. It's a fun time. Watch it. Balls of Fury. Shoot 'em up. That's the one with Craig Owen and Paul Giamatti, where he literally is like John Wick, I guess, and like murders everybody with everything. That one's fun. Okay. Not
so
a lot of thinking, but pretty fun.
I haven't seen it yet. Proster wants to show it to me. It's Looney Tunes.
It's super loon. Like super.
No, it's specifically is Looney Tunes because Clive Owen always has a carrot. He's Bugs Bunny, and Paul Giamatti is Elmer Fudd.
Did not see it that way.
Apparently, that's what it is. Apparently, that's the whole shtick, is that it's an action movie, but Looney Tunes.
I haven't seen it. He does always have a carrot, and he does murder people with said carrot. I don't. Maybe. Either way, it's a fun time, man. Don't think about it too hard, though. Don't think about it too hard. Just sit back and enjoy it. The last one on my turn your brain off and just have some damn fun in 2007 was Mr. Woodcock. This was like a really, I don't know if it was underrated or not, but it was just a really below the radar comedy with Billy Bob Thornton and Sean William Scott. Maybe their names were just too long to put on the box beside each other and people got confused. I don't know, but it was a fun one too. Let's see if I remember. Mr. Woodcock is like a gym teacher who is just like a total dick to this kid. And then when he comes back as an adult, Mr. Woodcock starts dating his mom. So that's always that's always a fun one. So anyway, that's my list of fun films from 2007. They just turn your brain off and just have a great time. Just have some laughs, man. It doesn't have to be the best freaking movie ever. It doesn't have to be a 9 out of 10 to enjoy it. Just have some fun. Don't worry about the world around you when COVID gets crazy and you're like, I can't handle it anymore. Go to the movies from 2007 because there's just some really great stuff in there. There's
some really okay stuff in there.
No, there's some really okayly great. Okayly great. Greatly okay. I think that's it. There's some really greatly okay stuff in there. Again, it's not like the best. Some stuff that's not. Oh, Grindhouse was in there as well. That's pretty good. But a couple other ones that were just like super mediocre. There was like a weird group of like. Do you notice there's a lot of like threes that came out that year?
Yes.
That were
I
like
did pick up on that.
Not great. Spider-Man 3, Cinderella 3. Like what? There was a third Cinderella. I didn't even know there was a second Cinderella. But okay.
Yep.
Shrek the Third, Rush Hour 3, all mediocre at best. Simpsons movie, that was okay.
Yeah.
Again, okay. Bourne Ultimatum, I thought that was an okay one in the Bourne franchise.
Honestly, I've only seen the first 45 minutes of the first Bourne film.
And you go.
And Bourne Legacy, which I loved.
I actually really liked Bourne Legacy too. I feel like that's almost blasphemy to some people because it wasn't even Matt Damon, but I liked it. It was good.
Really good.
Jeremy Renner was really good in that film. That was an enjoyable one, that's for sure. Mr. Bean's Holiday, nowhere near comparable to the Mr. Bean's movie or the TV series. It was not as great, but mediocre. Like, solid 6 or 5, something like that. There was a Halloween reboot, the Rob Zombie one. That's funny because they've like rebooted Halloween again since then, but also called it just Halloween. So
no, this one was Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Yeah, this was Rob Zombie's Halloween, but they're like, I don't know, man. Let's come up with some new titles than just Halloween. Because if you're just
come up with some new franchises.
Well, no, yeah, well, there's that.
What?
There's that
Who
whole
said
fact
that?
too.
What?
But like, I get it when you're
there's a
like,
weird ghost in the house now. Make some new content. Stop with the remix.
like I
Who
get it,
needs
man.
another sequel?
I get it, dude. Like when you want to bring back something that's been gone for a while and you just want to call it like Rambo or whatever, like you just give it like some like Logan or just like the title, right? Cool. But they're like they remade Halloween. They're like, this is a fresh restart. It's just called Halloween. Then a couple years later, they're like, we need a new fresh restart. This one's just called Halloween. It's like, oh my god, you guys, at least give it maybe like a subtitle or something. Because if I just say Halloween, you're like, which one of the 8 or whatever that are just called Halloween? Anyway, that one actually wasn't bad. I didn't mind it. No Country for Old Men, which a lot of people say is really great. I watched it, and I don't think I think I'm too stupid to get it. I didn't really get it. I was like, okay.
It's not bad, but it's not amazing. Like it's not as good as everyone says it is, but it's still a solid flick.
Like yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's still like solid. I just don't feel like I got it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't understand a lot of the decisions in the film. Like you're following the main character around and then he dies off screen like just really suddenly, like without any fanfare or consequence. Like it was just odd. Like it was just odd. I didn't get it. I'm like, I don't get this film, but okay, that's fine.
I don't like it.
I thought it was like a good 6 or I thought it was like a 7 probably. So like yeah, like we said, kind of that mediocrity level. The Mist, it's got Sam Witwer in it. Did you know that? I just watched that the other day.
It's got a bunch of like Walking Dead alum as well.
Yeah, and it's again not a great
Captain
film.
Holt.
Not
Captain Holt's in
terrible. Yeah, exactly. Like
It's
there's
fun.
so many people. If you watch The Mist, you're like, oh damn. That is literally a grocery store of people who you're like, I didn't know that person was in this movie.
I watched that one a little while ago.
Yeah. I mean, the ending is like, dude, that sucks.
Like, that's not how the book ends. And Stephen King actually prefers the movie ending.
Oh, really? He's like, oh, that was gold.
It's one of the few adaptations that he loves because he's like, yeah, I know you had the balls to do what I didn't. So
he's like, oh man, great call. Great call. Let's see, a couple left on this, like, just, not bad. I Am Legend, pretty, it's good, not great, not terrible.
it was a movie.
Yeah, well, we literally just said this is the list of it's a movie. National Treasure, Book of Secrets, and
yeah, you leave National Treasures alone. They are national treasures.
They're all right. They're all right. They're like a good 7, man. They're like a solid 7. Right. They're a solid 7. At least this one was. I think this was the sequel. I don't think this was the first one.
Yeah, that's the second one.
I think it's the sequel. And if I remember correctly, the sequel was not as good as the original. Probably. I don't know. Maybe. Alien v Predator Requiem, which was the sequel, which I thought was better than the first AVP. I thought the first AVP was pretty boring. This one, at least, was somewhat more interesting.
No, this one was just horror movie, but with Alien and Predator in it. It was just a slasher film because it was like, hey, look, it's a bunch of horny teenagers, and there's some military guys, but like, it's mainly the horny teenagers.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was.
I was okay with that. I was okay with that back in 2007, man.
It just didn't make any sense, man.
It didn't have to. It didn't have to. It's not that kind of film, man. But on the other hand, there were some pretty good films that came out that year too. Like you said, Ratatouille, the Bucket List with Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson. I'm kind of a sucker for like those old man movies where they're just like, yeah, before we die, let's go do this crazy adventure thing. They're like, yeah, and they make a lot of old people jokes. I find that funny. What's that one? Last Vegas, I think it was called. Also had Morgan Freeman. I thought that was pretty funny too. I don't know. I just like seeing old guys try and do shit, and it's just hilarious. Because they're just slow and old, whatever.
That's
and
rude.
Like There Will Be Blood, a Daniel Day-Lewis film, right?
I haven't seen that one, but I always get it confused with No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, it's not the same, but that was a really a lot of people feel like that's one of his best films. So, it is a really solid film. But like again, those are like three out of like how many did we go through? And those are three like really solid films. Everything else is just so like mediocre, but doesn't mean it can't be fun. It doesn't mean
Right.
it can't be fun. Like I said, just turn your brain off. Don't think about it. Just have a good time.
Just don't worry about it.
Sorry, guys. It was like a huge list from 2007. I probably overdid it, but I was like, there's so, like, because I wasn't putting a list together even of the best films, because I was like, I don't even know. Everything's kind of just the same. And so I just put together the list of like, these are great. Turn your brain off, have some fun. And then just some other mediocre ones that aren't terrible, but they're a film. It's a movie. You could watch it if you want. If you're bored,
You could leave your friends behind too.
you can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. Because if
if
they
your
don't
friends
dance,
don't
then they
dance,
don't
if
dance.
you don't
They're no
dance,
friends of mine. What's that? Saving Silverman. When does that show up on the list? That is a funny film. Anyway, yes,
I don't know.
that is 2007. Let us know, what are your thoughts on the year 2007 and the films in it? Do you find something like above the rest? Do you find everything kind of on the same level, mediocre? Do you like any of the films we said are good fun? Let us know down below. And we will probably answer, but maybe not sometimes. You never know.
Shh.
To be honest, we appreciate all your comments and stuff. And
It's a
we read them.
mystery.
Just sometimes we don't reply. It's
Look,
terrible of us. We have to get better.
It's
We have to get better. Let's be honest here.
Matt. We're just building suspense. We're building tension.
That's yes, but eventually,
No,
to
because you
build
see,
tension, you actually have to show up.
no, you
at some
see,
point.
they're gonna keep thinking we're gonna lull them with a false sense of security, where it's like they're never ever gonna respond to my comments, and then boom, one day just responses everywhere, and then next thing you know, you're selling it, you're selling it, you're selling it.
You slap it on it, you sell it, you sell it, you sell it. What was that from? That's funny.
Jurassic Park,
Oh yeah, yeah. You slap it on lunch boxes, yeah.
and then you're selling it.
You're selling.
You're selling it.
Yeah,
You're selling.
yeah. Classic Jeff Goldblum.
I could just go back to my default Goldblum question, but like, 'cause,
Yeah, if you could replace Jeff Goldblum with anyone in any of the movies, the 40 movies that you mentioned, who would you replace it with? Like everybody, I guess. I don't know. Especially John McClane, right?
No Transformers, but it's just Jeff Goldblum transforming into bigger Jeff Goldblums.
I would switch out Jeff Goldblum, like Megan Fox with Jeff Goldblum, because I think that would be so funny. Keep the same clothes.
Costumes and everything.
Exactly, same shit, same stuff, but like just Jeff Goldblum. That'd be great. Oh my gosh,
Him and Shia LaBeouf making out.
Someone made a YouTube video of that. That'd be pretty funny. Anyway,
I'd watch it.
let us know what you guys think of 2007 down below. Okay, Ethan, question of the day, man. Hit us. What's up? What do you got for us?
So last night I watched, well, I guess last night being Thursday night, so a few nights before this releases, I watched Police Academy for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get why it's revered so high as like a classic movie. Because to me, it was funny, I guess. Like it was too serious to be a comedy, but it was not serious enough to be a cop drama. And like they were trying to go for this wacky, weird, almost airplane-esque style of parody, but they didn't go far enough with it. But then there's like serious threats and drama by the end of it. Like it was just such a weird movie, but everyone talks about how great it is, and I didn't land for me. So that being my answer to the question, my question to you, Matt, what's a movie that everyone's like super like hyped up for you and talked like so highly about that you watched and you're like, what is this nonsense and why do people like this so much?
That's a good question. I gotta think about that for a sec. I don't. Something that someone's hyped me up on.
While you're thinking like that, I also have to add Police Academy does not age well in the slightest. Like time did not treat that movie well. Because a lot of the jokes and a lot of things they went for
Oh
it
man.
does not age. It does not age to 2021 very well,
Yeah.
like a lot of films do. But like that one specifically, for the amount that again people talk about it still to this day, like it was just so mediocre. Like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was just there. It existed.
Hmm. Honestly, man, like I would have to say, like probably my biggest disappointment was the first time I watched Napoleon Dynamite. Like the second time I thought was super funny. Like, and I know I already said that, but I honestly can't even think of a time where someone's been like, "This movie is the best movie ever," and then I watch it and I'm like, "This is not the best movie ever."
Like, is there one that you
Other
heard
than
like from
like
a
anything my brother's ever told me to watch. Oh, okay, fair enough. Here we go. Um, what's that? Something Hardcore Henry or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
My
about.
brother's like, amazing movie. And I was like, I think you need a new definition of what an amazing movie is, but
Well, even
it
like
was not that great.
Prosser was excited for that one. He watched it and like he was like, "No, it's good. Like you should see it, but it's not like doesn't shatter anything. Like it's not like, oh my
Like
gosh, best movie ever." But
like there's lots of films that like you see in trailers that you get excited about and stuff, right? And you actually watch them in theaters and you're like, this is trash. Like that happens a lot. But like I don't think I've had anything anyone ever recommends to me. Like you
is
have
there
to
any
see
like
this and you're just like, meh.
was there any
Like I don't think that happens too much. I must have a good like circle of people who recommend me stuff, I
were there any
guess.
like
Or
classic movies or anything that was like deemed a classic that didn't line up for you or
not yet. Actually, you know what? I guess recently, if it's a classic and everyone's like, "Oh man, best one ever," I would have to say like The Godfather 2. Like everyone says that's the better one, and I'm like, I kind of prefer the first
first
one
one
to
is the
be
best
honest.
one?
Like I consider the first one to be the better one. Like, and the second one wasn't terrible, but I didn't feel like it was as
It's
great
just
as everyone says it was.
it's a redundant story. It just repeats the same thing that the first one tells you and then fits in shoehorns in a story about Vito when he's younger. And
Yeah, the Vito when he like, and those two stories never really seemed to connect to me, or at least I didn't
yeah,
get
no,
fully
they don't at
understand the
all.
connection. Um, but like, but even Michael's story, it wasn't the same as the first one. It was vastly different between what
Well,
they were
but
doing. Like it was
it's
because in the first one it was like Michael's fall from grace, right? Like it was a very negative character arc. But like in the second one, it's just like how he's running the family, and then like how shit starts falling apart, right? Instead of like rise to power, it's kind of like his
well,
fall
that's what I
from
mean. It's
grace
this.
kind of thing. Yeah.
It's this, but that's what I mean. It's the same story as the first one because we saw him go from that whole like I don't want to be in the family business, and he falls and becomes the head of the family business. Like it's that same arc of like I he says he's gonna do a thing and then he fails to do that thing by the end of it.
Yeah, I guess
The
kind of.
third
If you look
one's
at it from that way, yeah.
the third one's even the same thing too, where it's like I am gonna go completely legit and I'll be fine, and then he doesn't.
And then he doesn't.
It's the Godfather conundrum, and like to me, it's the first one was all that needed to happen.
Yeah,
So I
like I
agree
didn't
with you
like.
there.
I honestly preferred the Vito stuff. Like I was like, why didn't we just make a whole movie about young Vito?
Yeah, I would have
That would
preferred
have
that.
been really interesting. Or make Michael's stuff the side story compared to like Vito's stuff, because that
And
was
like,
interesting and it had a satisfying conclusion at the end.
and again, have them connect.
Yeah, like there was just it was weird. Like they were just two separate stories. So I guess if I would say someone who's like, yes, this is a classic, I would have to go with Godfather 2. And while I don't think it's terrible, it was not as good as the first one.
Well, yeah, and that's Police Academy was the same thing for me, where it's like it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't nearly as good as half the other comedies to come out in that era.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'd say. Like most things, yeah, that are recommended to me, I haven't had too many issues with. Minus a couple few, but yeah, if we're talking classics, that would be my answer. So what about you guys? Has anyone ever recommended a movie to you or like hyped it up so much and then you watch it and you're just like, what the hell is this crap? This is terrible. Let us know down below. Or if there's a classic that everyone's like, this is a classic, and you're like, no, it's not. Classic for who? That's
A
the question
classic
here.
failure.
Yeah, this is a classic face plant. So classic.
Womp.
Classic.
Classic.
Classic. Classic. Anyway, that's
All right.
about it. Yeah, I think that wraps up today's episode. I think we're doing well on time here. We're just a nice little middle point. We're not trying to go too short. We felt half an hour was too short, and I think you guys did too. But not like again too long. Nice middle ground here. So that's what we're rolling for. Those were our films of 2007, what we thought were the best, or that we thought were just a lot of fun you could enjoy. So I hope you enjoy those films. Again, let us know what you thought of the year 2007, and then also answer Ethan's question of the day. Is there something that's been really hyped up for you? And if there is, and then you just were disappointed when you watched it, let us know. Other than that, Ethan, my friend, where can they find you?
You can find me at Instagram, Ethan R. Hill. You can find me on YouTube at Ethan R. Hill, and you can find my sorry. I forgot completely where you can find my film. That's at realhouse.org. Just search up Damned Rights and you can find it, you can rent it, buy it, download it, all that fun stuff.
I have some copies in my house. I just stop on by anytime, guys.
Like, I do though, but it's also pandemic, so like, please do not
So
stop
don't
by.
come here.
But I do have copies at my house.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
How about you, Matt?
You can find me in the only place that matters, my YouTube channel, Storytellers for Life. Go check it out. It's all about helping people believe in their dreams, live their purpose, tell their stories. And I just got the opportunity to sit down with an upcoming author whose novel is going to be coming out in a couple days, Sarah DeWard, and be able to hear her story. And the first part of that interview just went on my channel tonight. So go check it out. She's really just a really great, genuine person. And it's her story from like small town girl with a dream to published author. So if you're going on your own journey in life, it's just she shares some really great stuff that I think we're all going to be able to connect with and learn some lessons from as well. So it's really great. Go check it out. It's an excellent interview. Storytellers for Life. It's on YouTube. Just Google it. You'll find it. Probably.
Find it, watch it.
I'm sure there's a link below too, but whatever.
Well, we'll see.
However you want to do it, you'll get there. You'll make it. You'll make it. Anyway, that's pretty much it for us, guys. We will see you back here next week, same time, same place, as always. I'm Matthew Ayalew, and with me as always is
Ethan R. Hill.
Have a good one, guys. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
So long.
Toodaloo.
Peace.
Peace and love.
Oh, Ringo's back.